Thank you, Tsunami and Blink. Welcome to set game number 2, Tidebound versus Falcons. Winner of this moves on to through the upper bracket, while the loser goes to the lower bracket. Cinderin, we're gonna see the last time we cast Faith Beyond on Centaur.
Oh yeah.
Now, to be fair, they did lose, but it was the most entertaining game that we got to cast.
Yeah.
With all of the carts, with refreshers. I know we were teasing this, or maybe some people don't enjoy it, I don't know, but the late game Dota between these two teams is something to truly behold, and I hope we get there this time.
And I believe the game you're referring to was one of the games against Extreme, where Extreme had offlane Undying.
Yeah.
That was insane. That was the most exciting, and I would say high-skill game that we got the pleasure of casting during the Swiss stage. Now, as Blink said in the interview, Falcons have done some very good adaptations, and that's obviously one of the concerns that you have as the teams coming out the winners or the high scorers of those stages is the other teams get some time to figure out how they beat you. And this break that we've had in between the Swiss and the final stage here, Falcons have clearly prepared, very much so targeted at this opponent, as they should. It's their first one. You've got plenty of time to figure that out. Will be interesting to see in the future days when you have less time, how fast you will learn from the few games you get to see now from here on out. But yeah, the bans in particular really show a bigger adjustment. I would argue Falcons have made a much bigger adjustment against Tidebound than vice versa in the strategy. I'm not too surprised with what Falcons are getting to run in these games.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we were talking about this the other day, the fact that historically Chinese Dota has been extremely good at late game Dota, whereas kind of in the early stages they've been struggling as of recently, but it feels like Falcons, if it does go late, they're no strangers to this type of gameplay anyway.
Yeah. I would love to see a late game between these two teams where nobody is really far ahead. I think the last game, the advantage for Falcons just became way too big at around 30, 35 minutes. If the game is close, the teams are going to be delivering at a very high level. So fingers crossed for that. Now, as far as the lineups go, I do think it's more likely this game that this one will be slower, actually. Effie brought up a good point on the panel about the tankiness of Falcons' cores if things go according to plan for them, but I don't necessarily think a mid-game portion for them will be that easy. However, it's also not going to be the easiest task for Tidebound to build a big lead. Because how will they find multiple successful fights where they come out far ahead against this lineup? Tough to see. You have disengage of Naga, you've got a Baden who's like the hardest carry in Dota to kill. At least one of them. Pistol back off lane. Tall order.
Yep, very true. Abaddon has been extremely powerful in this tournament, and the last few months at the very least as a position 1. Nice pushback from Crit as he gets away from this potential death. See 3 members of Tidebound in the area, and that's the beauty of having the Nature's Prophet, which started out as the best hero of the patch. And where would you rate it now? Because, I mean, obviously it's always had this flex potential.
It's still up high. I think it's just a very high skill hero, because not specifically because of the spell casting. Like casting spells with Prophet is very simple, but using its map presence correctly.
Yep, Amar taking a lot of raises, wants to get aggro though, pops the stick as Shiro now is the one he's pursuing, but this looks like it might be the death of Amar, but first Planet goes down. That is a huge deal, so first blood actually going to Falcons. But of course, Shiro getting the kill onto the core, he's going to be at least a little bit satisfied with that.
Still, it's a 3v2 situation. That's a great result for Falcons in that exchange to get the first blood and just overall trading. Even if they didn't get the first kill, it's still quite good in the circumstances. But Amar is an absolute master at Bristleback. I think one of the things that sets him apart from most other Bristles, in my opinion, is his ability to... It's small moments like that, those snippets where you just watch how he turns his hero. It sounds so basic, but honestly, if you look at his gameplay on this hero against the majority of the field, even other like top 5 Bristleback players, I just think he's the absolute best at these high-pressure moments where he is the target, at rotating around, getting as much mitigation as possible while still doing his output. A lot of the time, the best player in Bristle is literally standing still.
Yep,
like he did there. So, pretty cool to see.
So what kind of build do you want to see from him this game then, with the lineup in mind?
I mean, currently he's eyeing up Blade Mail. I think that's a very good choice into Shadow Fiend and Puck. I think you just want to reflect a lot here. aside from that, Sanj and Yasha seems fine. I think BKB should be on the menu at some point. Lotus Orb could also be very good, which, you know, when I list all of Bristleback's best items and I like all of them in the game, it probably means it's a pretty good pick for that game. So, not sure I have a favorite order, but I do think Lotus, Blade Mail, and BKB should all be in it at some point.
6-minute power rune. Malreen's going to be sprouted and will be greeted with a shield rune activating right underneath him. So we'll be bottling that up as he's going to get the burrow. Just to harass Nothing to Say a bit as he's sitting on 43 and 5 versus the 41 and 2 on the puck. So extremely even in this mid lane. Is this what you would expect in a normal puck versus Sand King matchup?
Probably. The way Malreen played the lane is he just cuts waves, right? He pulls the waves together and then sandstorms them, so effectively he just trades. Maybe sometimes you can come out slightly ahead if you also integrate neutral camps well or whatever, but yeah, I'm not too surprised to see this overall result.
Is there going to be a play for the Wisdom Shrines this time? It doesn't. Well, as I say that, Malreen and Snake King are going to be greeted by Bach next to the tree line. Sand King tries to get off his ult, but it's instantly canceled. Coil is going to be expended. Malreen does not activate the ult as of yet. Tries to Burrow Strike out of the glimpse, but it's not happening. It's Nothing to Say. He's going to greet Snake King. Likely a death to his name is Skeeter. Now to 1 versus 2. Malreen's going to try to accompany him at the moment. Snake King, one more right click will do it for Nothing to Say. We'll be able to clip him with the Illusory Orb, but the bigger kill is onto Skeeter. Malreen, though, with the Epicenter, misses the Burrow Strike, but still gets the kill on the Centaur, and he takes the Shrine of Wisdom as well. So despite being outnumbered, Falcons getting the better of that.
Just like in game number 1, they get both Wisdoms minute 7.
I was not expecting them to actually be able to get it this time, though. I mean, the thing is, Tidebound was actually ready for that, too.
Yeah, it's a pretty good showcase of some of the things the panel was talking about with damage issues, right? This support duo of Prophet Disruptor do not deal much damage in the early game, so you just run over there with your tanky heroes and with a Photic Shield, and who's going to kill them if not Shadow Fiend? You've got a bit of poke damage from Puck and Centaur, that doesn't cut it, especially with Bach's skill build of 3 points and Retaliate. So,
yeah, to be
really
fair,
surprised with that outcome.
Yeah, I mean that is pretty normal though. You got to get farm on Centaur.
Oh, of course. I'm not blaming his item build, or his skill build. I'm just saying you just don't have that much damage to kill the Sand King there. They kind of had to disengage when he got a Photic Shield on him, and he just pursues.
As Tidebound will find a nice nifty stack that Falcons have been working on. Of course, Falcons one of the more active stackers in Dota, and Shiro even coming in to clean it up. So very nice state there for Tidebound.
Yeah, that's a good steal.
Well, we get to see the Centaur Helm of the Dominator. I believe he went that in the game that we cast as well.
I think
it does amplify his farm a decent amount, but this, yeah, with the 3 in return, like you said, this is going to be farm mode for Faith Beyond right now.
The funny thing is we've seen a lot of uncharacteristic traditionally heroes going for the Helm of the Dominator, right? But when you think about it, it actually makes a ton of sense on Centaur, because you get HP regen, which is what he really wants in lane. You get 6 armor. This hero has very bad armor, but very big strength growth. So your EHP per armor on this hero is second to almost none. And therefore, if it is a patch for Dom, it just makes sense for Centaur to be the one to pick it up.
Makes sense thematically as well. With Stampede, you want more animals, aside from your teammates, of course, to be able to take part. Yep. Such a beautiful spell. Remember when that used to stun initially when it came out?
Oh, yeah.
Good times.
That was when you peaked in MMR those 2 days.
Yeah, I was ranked 6 in the world. Thank you, Cinder. I was not going to bring it up, but since you did, I will.
No, I didn't bring up your ranking in the world. I just said you gained MMR.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
Malreen trying to defend this mid lane. Has that Sandstorm up, of course, with that facet that applies the blind when he attacks. Can be quite annoying to deal with. The fact that that works on towers is crazy, by the way. But it is interesting, because I can't think of another spell that works similarly like that. You can't stun a tower, can you? Or maybe there is actually a spell that can stun, technically. We'll have to think about that.
Off the top of
I'll give you the rest of the game to think of that one. Is Mask of Madness now online for Shiro? You can see the pressure being applied to this tier 1 as Shiro shows up with Planet as well. And it looks like this is going to be a nice pickoff for Tidebound. Will it turn into anything else, though? Malreen, he's going to be spotted. Glimpse back into the kinetic field. Nice push Bushwhack going to slow them down a bit. Coil applied, but that's not going to really turn into much as the numbers have come from Falcons. Skeeter leading the way. Oh my goodness. Okay. Has not leveled his ult as of yet, so does have to be a bit careful.
Yeah, I'm surprised they just let them have that tower. Considering you got both wisdoms and the 2 enemy supports are level 5, you're oftentimes not in a position to just brute force like this. But a successful play call, Falcons were uninterested in bringing over the resources. And let's be honest, if they really wanted to defend that, they could have. That was a choice. If MR TPs, I think you don't lose that. You just place the bristle back in front, and that's the end of it. Instead, they're letting them take the mid tower, and now Bach up top as well. Decently big wave with siege creep too.
Absolutely.
See if they do anything about this one.
Centaur left to his own devices can certainly push to a decent degree, especially with a helm on top of it. Not going to tank up the tower for now, as there's still a siege unit on it, so this looks like another tower for Tidebound, playing super fast in this game too.
Crit on Y, a little bit of poke here. The rotation from nothing to say a little bit too late to be able to find a coil. Now Crit will make a move of his own together with Malrine. That's that blink reveal. I think the dream kill here is to get Puck with a blink epi into Bushwhack stun combo.
12-minute rune is bottom. It's a haste as there's the stun onto nothing to say with the Bushwhack to follow, and the sharpshooter is enough. Big kill for Falcons.
Yeah, good judgment call there. I thought the epicenter might have been necessary, but they do have enough in the tank. I don't think that was a very big overkill. It was good enough.
Glimpse onto a Mar. I'm not sure why wants any of this smoke, though. He will now retreat, and Malrine will greet him. As Stampede is used, but I think he is dead anyway. Yeah, drops to the deck. So a Stampede down and another support kill for Falcons.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And looking at the side of Tidebound to see what power spikes are incoming. Dragonlance soon coming online for Shiro. Faith Beyond, Blade Mail not too far away as well. As the Witchblade now completed for nothing to say, so it looks like Blink is next on the menu for him. Okay, this is a real question. Before this would be a meme, but because it was so prevalent in the game that we cast, how fast can Faith Beyond go for the cart, Cinder? And everybody wants to know. Like, is this a pipe game? Do you need to go for that against... Well, essentially Sand King, right?
I don't think you need to go pipe. He's also eyeing a Blade Mill over it right now.
Oh, Blade Mill into what, though?
I think you could go Blade Mill, Blink Axe. Probably get...
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
And who do you want in your cart? The Shadow Friend?
It's pretty sick with Shadowfiend. You can drive him into Requiem.
Yeah.
That is a very strong combination. And of course, one of Shadowfiend's weaknesses as a hero, the panel touched upon this, is enemies, tanky heroes getting on top of you and just mauling you down. Centaur is one of the perfect solutions to that problem because SF, he has the damage to kill those heroes if he gets to attack.
That's right.
And the cart will ensure that. Of course, this was changed at some point. I don't remember which patch, but you're actually invulnerable in the cart, not just untargetable. So you can drive through the Epicenter Sandstorm and not care. You can tank all the quills. As long as you get to sit in that cart, you're all good.
But you can't take somebody out of Chrono anymore. Very important change. Very relevant in this game as well with the Faceless Void. So Blade Mail now up for Faith Beyond. As Amar is going to make his way to the mid lane. And another stolen shrine, potentially?
Oh, they might even get Shiro as a bonus.
Shiro, Epicenter's coming from him. He is not ready for this one. Bushwhack to follow Stampede, but the sharpshooter is enough again. Falcons get away with murder, and the trade is a measly support. Of course, no offense to Snake King, he actually gets off the song anyway. Even the Wrath of Nature's not enough. They use the Eclipse and the Static Storm as well, but the Illusory Orb is enough. They use everything to kill the support off as Skeeter shows up. A little bit too late, though, so Planet does end up trading the Wisdom Shrines, but still the bigger kill on top of Shiro.
Almost survived.
How is he so tanky?
Well, Naga has pretty good base armor, and I think he just popped everything he had. He probably had a lot of one charges, used Polywalk Charm, Song heals, obviously, so...
Yeah, but looking at the Tidebound team fight that's going to eventually come, if the stars can align, since that seems to be the theme of this TI, Coil into Requiem with like the cart potentially helping you out in that pursuit sounds kind of crazy. Being able to snap coil on multiple heroes.
Yeah.
A lot of upside, and with that Static Storm to make things even more difficult. You can see the potential from Tidebound's lineup.
He is queuing up Pipe on the Centaur, though.
Okay.
So this will be a much delayed blink. Of course, they can somewhat rely on Nothing to Say to set up plays, but it is nice to have a secondary option.
Ooh, close
Good
one.
glimpse.
Indeed.
We'll save Planet, but...
Oh, Sharp, this is a much bigger kill. Trying for the Requiem, but it's not happening. Skeeter gets the kill on Shiro. Second death in just a couple minutes now for the SF.
He's having a really difficult day today so far. Marcy in game number 1 did not go well. This game on SF, the 2 deaths, it might not sound like much, but this hero is the perfect target for Falcons to slow down if possible. And similar to game number 1, Tidebound are playing without saves. So when SF does get jumped, until you have that cart, which is far down the road.
Yeah, let's keep
Probably
talking about the cart, by all means.
Well, absolutely. It's for once, it's actually important. The first 20 times I cast with you and you mentioned it, I didn't care. But this game, I do.
Yep, you can see, I can see the future. I have vision.
Yep.
As
You
Stampede,
have vision. That's good.
That's right. Stampede used again. This time it does get somebody out, and it's Bach himself.
Yep.
But you can, I mean, just based on how this game is played, Tidebound has not been very aggressive at all. Like, maybe the laning stage a little bit with the TPs from Planet, but mostly it's been Falcons that have been setting the tempo.
Yeah, they took the early mid tower and top tower, but that's it. All the moves have been Falcons to get 4 Wisdom Shrines, find a couple kills on the SF.
It was 3.
Oh, did they trade 1 for 1 on the second one?
Planet ended up TPing to the
Okay.
other side.
There's a Radiance now on Abaddon. So this is a major level up, whichever playstyle you want to go for. If you want a team fight, this is when Abaddon really starts packing a punch. If you want to farm, you accelerate to a large degree. So Skitter's on track here for a solid...
Stampede is not online this time, as Amar finds himself a half-man, half-horse. But why is in the vicinity? Oh, a big initiation with a coil on the 3. Static Storm to follow. Malrine comes in, though, with the Epi. Looks like Boxing is the first to fall. Planet trying to kill off somebody. He finally gets a support. Looks like he's going to die shortly after, though, as the song to try to reset. Shiro on the outskirts looking for the Requiem. Will get it off to get the fear. Decent timing. Ensnare applied to the puck at the moment, though. Nothing to say. He's found in the tree line. Burrow Strike applied. Still stuck in the trees. Can they find him? They ping him out. Finally, the Illusory Orb comes. It's a curveball, though, back into the fray. He'd be able to blink out, though. It looks like the pursuit will finally come to an end. Is that... was all over the place.
Well, he did get out, but that first orb, I have no idea what happened. That might have been a mouse slip. Like, you would want to curveball that one back to your base or just throw it in a straight line, but he orbed forward. Fortunately, did manage to find a way to play himself out of that, but that was scary. Still another good fight for Falcons. Having the damage, and Shadowfiend just arrives too late. If you want to take these fights as Tidebound, and you do have said damage issues, this guy needs to be involved.
Yeah.
Or you're just not killing him.
I mean, they had Coil, Static Storm on 3 heroes. That is about as good of a start as you can hope for at this stage of the game for Tidebound.
If there's a Requiem there, you team wipe them, right? But
yeah,
Falcons might not make the move to begin with that information. They're doing it because they know Shadowfiend is elsewhere. So it's a little bit of an unlikely hypothetical to really find that type of fight right now. And of course, if you do find yourself in the back foot, hang on, nothing to say.
Sharpshooter again. The glimpse back onto Snake King gives the space needed for Nothing to Say to retreat.
It is hard for Tidebound to land all of their stuff because there's the threat of song at any given point. Now, in that example, Snake King was caught in the storm, but you cannot rely on that happening every time.
I mean, this might be a game
arriving. That's drums.
Yeah, this might be a game where the 3 cores from Tidebound all have to get BKB because of the song, potentially.
Radiant's top tower
I mean, the fact that Pipe is being bought by Bach means that that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, it's far away.
That would be like a 4th, 5th item for him if the game gets to that point. Malrine, he's going to be able to pop the Epicenter, and that is way too easy onto Faith Beyond. And it looks like the rest of Tidebound might want to still fight.
Yep.
Glimpse onto Skeeter. Gets stunned up now. Has the borrowed time. And the kinetic field not in time, so he is going to be able to shrug it off with the Aphotic Shield and the rest of Falcons nearby.
understandably, Y is hesitant to just go in there against an Abaddon ult, but ends up being a little bit too slow, doesn't land the field, and this is probably just going to cost them the
Wait, are they
Tormentor.
contesting this? No, the Centaur taken out. They know this is happening, but indeed. Skeeter, of all the heroes, gets the shard. That's surprising. Talk about that in just a moment. Kinetic field with the Static Storm onto the Sand King, but there's no follow-up at all from Tidebound. They have to run away.
This is such a good shard to get for free on Core Abaddon.
Yeah, how did that even happen? He's third in net worth on his team then, or he was at that point?
Well, Crit bought his own, so he was competing against Naga, and Amar also has his own. He bought his too.
Okay.
So, yep. And if you subtract 1,400 from his current net worth, he's below Sand King. So, yeah. He was eligible. His other teammates are just that farmed.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. I feel like Falcons are one of the teams that actually purchases shards a lot earlier than the average team. Probably one of the nerd stats from AUI 2000. One of his preferences, Skeeter.
Made up.
Under the tier 2 tower, Coil will snap thanks to the glimpse. Skeeter's ult is now down. Wrath of Nature coming for him. Does hit, but now the reinforcements have arrived. Burrow Strike from Malrine. Bushwhack not going to connect this time, and a Sharpshooter does. The Stampede does not give the distance needed. So another punish from Falcons as they now have a 5K lead.
It doesn't seem like Tidebound are able to string anything much together in these attempted aggressive moves. They're just unable to connect on the heroes that they want and get the damage out. Abaddon being the target once again just doesn't really help if you don't have the follow-up. What you want to do is to force his ult without using Glimpse. If you use Glimpse to force the ulti every time, he just runs away. So if they're unable to force it without it, the play probably doesn't exist to begin with. And it's just a big waste of time. I mean, sure, you might not lose any kills or any heroes in the process, but you just know in the back of your mind, Falcons are farming on 3 cores the whole time. So they're beating you on efficiency if these moves fail.
Yeah, well, now Faith Beyond has the pipe. Obviously, we talked about the fact that he opted to go for that before Blink, so it feels like they have to get something out of this.
Oh, he's queuing up Crimson, too.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't need Blink if you know you're going to get Aghanim Scepter at some point, Cinderin. You know?
Well, that's debatable.
I mean, the fact that you can Blink full range now with somebody in the card and it works.
Yeah.
Absurd. So many micro buffs over the last couple years with this item that we keep talking about we probably won't see, so we're just wasting everybody's time. But regardless, Falcons now through the gate as they have their sights set on nothing to say. Well, they don't have their sights yet, but they have an idea. He's up here. Burrow Strike finds him. Bushwhack to follow, and another Sharpshooter kill for Crit. My goodness. He has 4 kills right now on the Hoodwink. Feels like nothing going the way of Tidebound so far in this game, too.
This hero pairing is so good. So, Hoodwink plus Centaur, Hoodwink plus Sand King. You hit a Burrow Strike, you make sure you get the Boomerang in ASAP, you amplify all the spell damage from Sandstorm, from your other spells. He doesn't even have an offensive item in these kills. He's running Glimmer on Hoodwink, so he hasn't amped anything else than buying the Boomerang. That's good enough. Now mid-tower finally for Falcons. 8,000 lead going to be on the board after this goes down. For 1 second, now it's back to 7, but it was a good second.
Yeah, we will always remember that.
Again.
Very memorable moment here at TI. Mallory now taking some creeps away from Tidebound, working on his BKB next, not that far away. And Shiro with the 2 deaths that, I mean, it's only 2 deaths, but it does feel like it's kind of compounded from game 1 to some respect, because he was just dying constantly.
Yeah, he has 9 deaths so far today, I believe. Wasn't it 7 in the last game? Something like that.
Sure, we'll just go with that. Working on the Silver Edge, so wants to be able to break the Bristleback, but again, this is an off-lane hero. You still have to worry about 2 more cores that are all mega farmed. And
the question is, if you break him, does he even die? He has Lotus, Pipe, and Sanj. It's a really, really tanky Bristle here, top of the net worth. I think you have to try to bide your time here as Tidebound, which is always going to be a dangerous strategy to have to play against Falcons, but realistically speaking, with the supports that you've drafted in this game, and also arguably in game number 1, you're putting a lot of pressure on your cores to do all of the damage, and if they're unable to find that early lead, you fall into this mid-game stalemate where you can't really pose that much of a threat. They will eventually get there. Puck is one of the best late gamers in Dota. Played from the mid lane. Centaur can become a monster. I'm not concerned about Tidebound's ability to win this game at the hour mark. I'm concerned about their ability to get there. Because Falcons are ramping up more and more, and if they hit their stride like they did in game number 1, we could be looking at a similar end time of like 45 minutes where the heroes are just invincible.
Yeah, for sure. And I was going to say, he's holding on to a lot of gold, but changing his mind, going for the Blink Dagger now in Centaur. We'll see if Tidebound want to get a little bit more aggressive now. As a result, Shiro actually pops the smoke. The dust on the other side, though. They know that he has the Shadow Blade. Don't have the vision required. They do find Y instead, though. Another sharpshooter kill. Man, oh man, Crit is farming up those fantasy points today.
And this is all
Likely
a setup for
Rosh
Rosh. Amar with the amp damage, with the goo. They've got Curse of Avernus. This is nice and easy.
Nothing to say. Oh, he's going to get Epicenter Burrow Strike as well. Crit in the vicinity in addition. Hoof Stomp comes. It's going to be close, though. Nothing to say. Just able to get out. And again, this Rosh is really all that Falcons care about, and they're going to secure it now officially.
They just have to pop so much in escape, right? If there's a Hoodwink ult there, the Puck is 100% dead. That only worked out because Crit had Sharpshooter on cooldown from the previous kill, which is, you know, fortunate for nothing to say, but at the same time also showing that Falcons keep finding the moves back to back. So you don't get much time to breathe. For a team that's got a reputation in this tournament for good reason, and in general of playing like slower and choking out the map, I feel like today Falcons are deliberately playing a higher pace against this opponent.
Yeah, for sure.
Just seemingly the right approach, at least so far, against Tidebound in this series. And again, I would argue a large part of it is them exploiting the support duos that Tidebound has picked in both games, just not having that much kill power. So whenever we get into the skirmish mode, Crit's Hoodwink is just having more impact than the enemy supports combined. He's actually offering those kills.
And we're talking about Nature's Prophet.
Yeah.
I feel like you haven't said that statement, right? The entire year. But that is definitely the case in this game, too.
Wisdom again for side of
They
Falcons.
will take it. And on the other side, the Sharpshooter makes it a little bit more difficult as Crit's going to continue to stand inside. Burrow Strike a little bit too late, but at the very least, they will secure their own shrine as well. So 3.5 minutes on this Aegis. Are you surprised with the Aegis onto Amar?
No, I think it's the perfect choice. I think Abaddon doesn't need it, this game, with how it's played out. And Senking has BKB, and Amar, a lot of the time when Falcons play with Bristleback, Amar is playing almost as the carry of the game. So they're going to send him in front, and he can create all the space in the world, knowing that he cannot die twice. So I don't mind it. I think it's good. He's level 18.
Yeah.
Top net worth in the game. Sounds like a good Aegis carrier to me.
And he can certainly hit buildings as well.
Classic Amar fashion, he's of course running Seeing Red. We haven't talked about that. A lot of offlane bristles like the Snot Rocket, but Amar wants to get up close and personal.
The fortification comes out on this tier 2, and it's just a matter of time.
I wouldn't mind seeing Falcons go high ground here.
Already?
Yeah, I understand there could be some concern with if you get caught on the back foot and you have to run away and then you get glimpsed back in. I really struggle to see the side of Tidebound killing this Bristle twice. I think they can at least burn the Aegis and see how much they can get. They have Song of the Siren, Aegis, Abaddon. It's difficult to deal with them. But
so far playing it safe.
Yeah.
They have 2 tier 2s down now. Only the bottom lane remains as Planet currently pushing that out. He's working on an Aghanim Scepter for the Prophet. So Silver Edge now up for Shiro. And like you said, this is against the Bristleback, whose top net worth has the Aegis. Will they even have remotely close damage to bring him down?
That's what's kind of interesting about this game state is Falcons, I think, are... I'm not going to say they're peaking right now, but I think if both teams just farm for another 5 minutes, I actually think that's good for Tidebound. You want Puck to get to more critical mass, like get level 20 talent to start getting next damage item potentially. Currently going for Yules though, so that's not all that scary. You want Shadow King to get crit. You know, we want him to be able to kill these tanky boys, and so far doesn't really have it. The Tormentor for Falcons, so this is the upgraded Song of the Siren, much more healing. And also regenerates mana. Largely irrelevant in this game. But
Well, we'll see. I mean, it's percentage-based.
the healing is good, the mana regen is...
Oh, yeah, that part.
I don't think that...
But percentage-based healing when you have 3 strength or 3 tanky heroes that are your cores is insane.
It's
combo.
very good. So as an example, it heals currently 6% max HP per second. So on Bristleback, what's that? That's like 150? Not bad. It's like 2 hearts.
I thought Heart was bad, though.
Well, 2 hearts is good, but you can't do it.
Okay, gotcha. Skeeter finds an opening, snaking with the ensnare. And this will be the death of Planet. Still working on that Ags. And yeah, it looks like Falcons are going to be pretty content with the 2 tier 2s down as the Aegis expiring in 15 seconds. But this is going to open up Tidebound smoke now as they look for an opening. BKB, though, for Amar. That's going to replace the Aegis. So he's going to look to potentially pop this smoke from Tidebound as they make their way into their own jungle, which has been infested now by Falcon members. And there's a Crimson Guard.
I'm not sure about this Crimson.
It's okay. He's going Ags next. We're going to see Cart this game. I promised it to all the viewers.
I feel like
Let's hear it for Cart, everybody. Yeah!
Do you think the Crimson Guard is worth it?
I mean, there's a lot of physical damage.
There is, but
and it's good for high ground with the tower, theoretically.
There are some benefits. I just feel like the cart is what is... I can't believe I'm saying this in a cast. I feel like that is the potential difference maker in this game where Shadow Fiend seems like he needs help being brought into good positions in the fights and dealing the damage, or if nothing else, you can use it as a save. The Crimson, you're delaying that a lot more. It's definitely not a bad choice, but I'm not sure it's the best. Anyway, might just get there regardless and get the cart. 4,000 gold shouldn't take 50 on all that long. Probably 5 or so minutes, maybe 6. But that will... Effectively, that will be after next Roche.
Yeah.
So that timing is unfortunate.
Snake King's getting pretty farmed now. Has a Solar Crest with drums, and Force Staff will be getting Greaves relatively shortly. This is a support hero, Cinderin.
He has 140 CS.
If we transported this image back 6 years to you, would you have a heart attack seeing that as a support player?
I would have a heart attack at seeing how big the map is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe a heart attack is a very big statement, Shan. Relax.
We're all about that.
I would be surprised. Now, Naga is no stranger to farming. Like, this isn't a new thing that support Naga gets farmed. But obviously, when the map is bigger like this than a couple of years back and you are in control, Naga is one of the most oppressive heroes, which is why this hero gets banned so much. Because whether it's played in a support or core role, the illusions are low cooldown scouting tools that push waves non-stop, so you always have to take care of that. Naga is Helm of the Dominator 2.0, right? The illusions just do the same thing as those doms do by pushing out waves non-stop, farming for you, letting you scale. You can buy any items.
He's effectively a core. I mean, he's only 3k behind Malrine, for God's sake.
Yep.
Pretty impressive.
And that's probably the reason Malrine isn't ahead of at least Centaur, is because Naga is taking some space.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Sand King will get more, but he doesn't need to.
Sharing is caring.
Curious to see what Snake King will do after the Greaves, because I think we can already start thinking ahead for that. There's nothing indicating that he will stop farming. And 14k net worth already. What is a good item here for the support Naga? Dagger. I guess you could get Hex
Ooh, yeah, Hex would be good.
against the Puck. Plenty of options.
Or both. Blink Hex. So
Yep.
just become Shadow Shaman yourself.
If he keeps farming at this rate, he will be 6 slotted at minute 50. So
Well, Shiro has Daedalus, so damage definitely online for Tidebound if they can get the connection. That's the big if right now. Falcons will smoke up. Looks like Tidebound might want to be doing the same here relatively shortly.
Parasma. There's some big damage upgrades here for Tidebound. This feels like finally they have some tools that they have been lacking for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
If they actually do connect, I believe in their lineup to now be able to kill some of the cores. But the connection is the big question mark. How do you get Shadow Fiend into position when you don't have the cart yet? Centaur can go for a blink stun, but you have counterplay from Song, you have counterplay from Aphotic Shield. BKB on Bristle. I mean, Bristle just doesn't die, right? BKB, Pipe, Lotus, and another Plate Mill.
This is basically full timer Roche as well. So
Yep.
that benefits Tidebound. They've had time to kind of catch up a bit in terms of getting the items they feel are the next power spikes for them.
Still won't have the cart on spawn.
Let's talk about card again.
If Falcons want to force this now, they know it's up because it couldn't have been any slower than this.
And we'll see if they want to try to contest this or if they want cart. What is more powerful, second Roche or cart? Only one way to find out, ladies and gentlemen.
He can't afford it now. They're going to smoke. So, big moment here for the side of Tidebound.
Oh yeah, he's getting it on the way. Workhorse about to activate. The crowd is going to cheer so loudly when it's in his inventory. There we go! We got the Workhorse cart! Enter the cart. Nothing can harm you any longer. Now, of course, he needs a BKB to be able to use it properly, Cinderin. There's still ways to go, but the important thing is he has the cart now.
You and I thought the crowd at this event was going to be cheering for killed Dominator creeps, but it turns out it's the actual Centaur.
That's right.
Not the dominated one. The Scepter in hand, the smoke, highly uneventful, just breaks and they're not really following up on it, but the standoff begins. Now, this ward that they've placed above the Roche pit here for the side of Tidebound could be really powerful, but, well, if the fight gets pulled away from there, it doesn't do very much exactly.
I really hope this cart does something, or else we really did a shitty cast.
I think either it's instrumental or it's completely irrelevant. One or the other. It needs a polarizing result here. It needs to not be okay.
I mean,
we want a big play,
yeah,
or we want it to be completely...
Yeah, Faith Beyond is no stranger to this, as we talked about, so we're not worried about the execution. It's more, will he have the opportunity?
Yeah.
Falcons, with this 14K lead, pretty massive.
I think it's worth pointing out the win expectancy graph of this game has flatlined in the last 10 minutes. Falcons were gaining and gaining and gaining, and now we're kind of stuck in this 3-1 favorite stage, which I think I could get on board with. I see a possibility for Tidebound to pull off a good fight, but definitely Falcons are in the driver's seat and have the easier to execute strategy at this point. Shiro almost has Pike now. Another big item for him. We're talking about his inability to hit stuff. That'll help.
Yep, Roche. Belches in their face again.
I've got 1 minute to do this before he is tired of being here.
That's true. If they can delay this. And Lamar now outside the pit. Want to get to the triangle of Tidebound. This Planet being pursued in his own base. Oh my goodness. Burrow Strike Sharpshooter, it's enough. Planet actually out for 50 seconds with no buyback, so this is actually a 4 versus 5. I don't know how. He did not feel safe in his own base, and I can see why now. But still, Falcons not forcing the issue onto Roche. Want to capitalize on any potential mistakes. You can see the wave is already pushed in the mid lane, so perhaps forcing Tidebound back to base is what they do.
Yep.
And they're going to be pounding on this tier 3 rather, with the illusions to follow suit. And Shiro and the company, this is going to be a mass TP for Tidebound. And immediately Falcons just go straight towards the pit. Although, like you said,
he's leaving.
Roche is leaving. His home has now changed. It is summertime Roche, heading to the south, where closer to the equator, nice and warm.
And Falcons are already set up better in this area than Tidebound, courtesy of being there first. So once again, feels like they have things under control. Snaking will keep pushing out lanes with these pesky Naga illusions. And sure, you do have Nature's Prophet to try to do the same thing, but it just takes him longer to do it, and it's a bigger commitment. Using teleport every time puts you on that cooldown where you can't connect to your team. Naga just spawns the illusions, sends them out, and stays with the team. Always available for the save.
Yep, true.
Yeah. Do they have any smokes left is the question on Tidebound. They don't have anyone in their inventories, so it's difficult for them to access this area, but at the same time, Falcons also uninterested. This has effectively been a 3-minute Roche fight without hitting Roche.
Well, Roche
and without hitting each other. So
the old Roche off, but this time in a different area.
Oh yeah, we had this forever in the corners.
Yeah.
Man.
I love this current Roche, though.
Yeah. It's good.
All right, Tidebound on the high ground. You can see the illusions continually spotting them. As
Yeah, it's
Falcons
not
just
only the
daring
Naga.
them.
It's also the Abandoned Radiance.
Oh,
man.
Stampede. Okay, Epicenter comes in from Mallory. Pops the BKB as well. As Bach looking for somebody to use on his cart. He's going to be applied some pressure. Pops the Blade Veil. Nobody really wants to touch him now, though. Gets rooted up onto the high ground. Nothing to say coming. They're trying to take out the Abaddon, but he activates his ult just in time and heals up to full as a result. There's the cart onto the Shadow Fiend. Being able to get off his ult. The Centaur dies first inside of his own cart. The Shadow Fiend follows soon, and just like that, it's 4 dead for Tidebound, and Falcons lose nothing. That wasn't even close. The cart didn't do it.
Maybe they'll get one more chance, but it will be against a man advantage now. Aegis as well as Banner. Wonder who they'll put the Aegis on. Saw Skeeter take a lot of damage in that engagement, but obviously stay alive. It will be Amar again. And it's sieging time. You've got plenty of time. You got 50 seconds before Shiro's up, so I think high ground already is on the menu. They're barely even scratched. All their heroes are looking full right now, and they still have Song. So, in reality, that wasn't even remotely close. Now, Hex comes out for Hoodwink. He almost has Refresher on the Naga.
This was the previous fight, of course. I mean, the fact that the Disruptor gets taken out before the fight really begins kind of spelled the doom for Tidebound, and didn't have enough money to buy back and TP in. So Falcons capitalized. Now they're up 24K with the Aegis advantage, and now pushing that bottom lane. Can Tidebound do anything to repel the forces of Falcons? This is going to be one lane for them extremely easily.
Not exactly a carbon copy of the previous game, but it's feeling really similar overall. Similar time for the overall high ground, going for the killing blow here at about 45 minutes. Executing the map better.
He gets broken, but just going to shrug it off. The second lane in the sights for Falcons. Oh, the Hex onto the puck. The bushwhack to follow. The save! The cart saves the puck. Gonna try to turn this around, but where is the damage coming from exactly? Nature's Prophet in the midst of all of this. Trying to TP out, but the Burrow Strike connects. Bushwhack to follow. That'll be the death of the NP. And again, 3.5 minutes on the Aegis. Falcons have plenty of resources to work with as Amar looks like he's going to finish off this second barracks very shortly. Another Hex. The Burrow Strike actually misses, but they find the connection. On to nothing to say. The Stampede is not enough. He is out for 90. No buyback. As Falcons now to the third lane to try to get Mega Creeps and close the door in this upper bracket match against Tidebound. And it's looking like it's going to be a 2-0.
What a stellar performance this game has been from Crit on the Hoodwink.
Bach gets off the Hood Stomp to try to break the Abaddon, but he already has his ult on as Amar just destroys Y. Cart onto the Shadow Fiend in retreat. They just call GG, and just like that, Falcons 2-0 Extreme in this upper bracket match.
And this individual game more so than the first, not even remotely close when you look back at it.